Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Esports Report presented by the Xbox One, of course, the official console of Major League Gaming. Benson and Mr. X kind of guiding you through everything Pro League so far. Took a look at what happened yesterday, what happened today, or what will happen today, I should say, and a little bit about some of the DLC maps included in Season 3. But now, it's that time, which as casters love, because it gives us a little bit of chance to be competitive against one another. It's prediction time. Now,
there's no competition when one dominates all, Benson. And I have dominated.
First of all, let me just say this. So far in the AW year, I am having a much better time.
Let's look at the graphic from last night, 6 p.m. Everyone got this one right. Everyone went OG. The 7 p.m. match, everyone got that one wrong with Rise beating Epsilon. The 8 p.m. match, that's where it was all decided. I was the only one who believed in ISO.
Now hold on.
Everybody went Orbit.
Now hold on. Hold on. I have to ask you this.
Yeah.
Why did you go ISO? What was the kind of decision process behind that?
Is it the stronger team?
Because they're the stronger team.
Yeah.
That's all you're gonna say about that.
Hey, I thought that they were gonna. They thought they were the stronger team out of those two.
Okay.
I mean, I think Orbit's very good. Pacento had a great night last night. He played amazing. But I think ISO they have some great teamwork. I think Orbit still needs to kind of figure some things out in Respawn game modes, like how they're going to work as a team. ISO already has that down pat. That's kind of why I went ISO on that one.
Props to you.
Such a short turnaround since Season 3 relegation.
The only one which kind of picked the correct one in that one, but the one we all got wrong was ironically that second game, Rise versus Epsilon.
Yeah.
Rise came out with a 3-1 win. Everyone had
I expected
winning.
Rise not to field the roster in that one.
Right.
That's why I went Epsilon.
You can't, like, you look at what happened, like, a couple of hours before they lose a couple of players, and all of a sudden they kind of thrown 2 players at them and said, hey, you know, come play for Rise. They're like, okay, well, why not? You cannot expect a team like that to just walk in and 3-1 Epsilon. I mean, when you really dissect that game down, that was not a good start for Epsilon.
It was TJ playing out of his mind for Rise, and Epsilon not playing well as a team, and the communication issues still a factor for those guys. And Denial, they win at the end. It wasn't a strong victory against TK. I'm kind of worried about them, too. I mean, I picked them, but I don't feel that strong about that team, to be honest.
Okay, well, Matt currently leads the charge by just 1 point, so hold on to that because it won't last long. Let's take a look at tonight's predictions, though, because this is where we have some very differing opinions. We'll start off and go through it one by one. 6 p.m., okay, Optic Nation play TK. Now, you and Puckett both went Optic Nation. What's the thought process behind that one?
You know, TK still adjusting to the new squad. They took Denial to the limit, but do I think Denial's a very strong team? No, not really. I think Moch online for ON, he's going to be a huge factor in this match with the AR. I think ON definitely going to take this one.
No shadow of a doubt. Like, you're 100% sure.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident in that one.
Really? See, I look at that and I think, you know, TK, I think they should come out pretty strong here in day 2. You know, Optic Nation, a team who have...
If there's any time to come out strong, making a roster change, it's that first initial match. You know, everybody's hyped to play with each other. Everyone's good vibes.
Gotta just go straight into it, I guess. I mean, Nameless is a player that I look at really in that, and I see if he can continue playing as well as he has recently, at least. But honestly, I think that one is really a toss-up.
Yes.
I really do. I look at both those teams, and there isn't really a clear favorite. I think that shows by the predictions. Both me and Maeve go TK. You and Puckett go with Optic Nation. Now, 7 p.m. though. That's where it gets a little bit more bias, I guess. Elevate go up against Epsilon. Now, yesterday, we all went Epsilon versus Rise. They kind of let us down. Today, we all seem to kind of abandon Epsilon a little bit.
Well, I think I don't really abandon Epsilon. I think Epsilon's going to have a pretty good Season 3 once they get everything worked out.
Okay.
I think Elevate's a very strong team, though, with Slacked, Apathy, and Saints. So dominant 3 Slayers. You know, Slack looked pretty good in the 10K running. They are full-time. Classic put up some big games now as cast them as well on Sunday. Expect good things out of this Elevate squad.
Yes. I'm looking forward to watching them play. That game should be a good one. I'm excited again to see Epsilon, see if they can bounce back. That's one game I don't care if I get wrong, though, because we all had the same game, so it completely doesn't matter. This next one,
this one's interesting.
At 8 p.m., yes, you are reading that graphic correctly. It's Denial versus Rise. You know, Christopher Puckett has gone Rise.
I went Denial.
Okay, but you're looking at me as if you don't feel confident.
And I'm going to defend Christopher Puckett. He's convinced me into a lot of bad predictions in the past.
Oh my lord.
You know, Vamos al Aztec, but
Vamos Aztec.
Right. Rise, that's not a bad pick there. You know, Denial didn't look that strong against TK. No, they still have some issues. Rise, that they get a big win last night. They have some confidence. coming into today, they take the first map off the Denial. That could spiral out of control for Denial in Rise's favor. So not a huge hater on that pick out of Puckett.
Really?
Yeah.
You genuinely think Rise could take that?
I don't think it's gonna. I mean, I think Denial wins it. Would I be shocked if Rise won it in like 3-1, 3-2?
No. Could happen in your mind?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
little sleeper pick there by Puckett.
Well, me, you, and Maven all went with Denial. And then the last game at 9 p.m. Eastern. Optic Gaming go up against ISO. Now, you had ISO's back yesterday, Matt.
Yep.
You've completely abandoned the ship.
I haven't abandoned
I'm going to give you one last time to change your prediction to ISO.
I haven't abandoned the ISO ship.
You completely abandoned the ISO ship. You were so ISO strong yesterday. The general manager of ISO was tweeting at you saying, "Good guy, Matt. Thanks for sticking up for us when no one else did. You believed in us." Tonight, though, you just lost all belief.
Yeah, that was yesterday. Today's today. I saw Hector today.
Right, you did?
Yeah, I saw Hector today. OG. I mean, they're so strong.
Even without Scump.
If they don't have Scump, could get interesting. I still expect them to take it in a close series. ISO, would I be shocked if they won this one? No, not really. It's like,
what? You wouldn't be shocked
without Scump.
Okay.
Without Scump, don't know who OG's. Who's OG's sub?
They were playing with Scump yesterday.
Right. Today's
and they
birthday.
went all the way to a round 11 game 5 this end.
Yeah, Envy's very strong.
Right, but if I told you that before, you would have been like, really? If you just sat there and predicted that Envy could have taken it in game 5.
If you look in the series and it was like the Drift Hardpoint and some other game modes, Optic hasn't really practiced too much. Recovery Search, they haven't practiced that one in a very long time. Haven't played this one with this team.
True.
You could have saw Envy like stealing some games, making some things happen. This one against ISO, I'd love to know, one, who's going to be playing for Scump. If Scump isn't playing.
Right, because he could be playing right now. We don't
if Scump plays,
100% know yet.
It's
they're
going
to
cruise.
birthday. I mean, I wouldn't want to play.
Yeah.
They do have Scump, apparently. So,
according to the chat.
All right, so with them using Scump, no chance for ISO?
I love the ISO squad. I think OG wins this one, though.
ISO top 8. You're basically changing. You started with Stunner top 8, ISO top 8. Do you see a team like ISO finishing in the top 8 of the season?
Oh, yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
No.
ISO's a very good team. They've been consistent in the 2Ks and 5Ks for a very long time now. Pretty good online squad with Llama God, Silly. I think they're going to have a pretty good run in the Pro League.
Okay. Well, of course, Matt leading right now in the prediction race by just one.
It shouldn't shock any of you.
Got a little bit lucky. I think by the end of it, I will definitely win. I've had some of the best predictions of the event so far, so don't hate. Anyway, let's take a look at our overall leaderboard for the season. Of course, it's only 1 day strong, so nothing too crazy, but you can see the teams at the top with wins, and game win percentage is basically what separates a couple of the teams.
The teams at the bottom will have losses.
Shock horror. Rise ISO at the top, and then all these other teams basically losing.
Yep, all those teams at the bottom, they're lost. Yeah, we don't want to talk about those
It basically just comes down to, Rise, ISO, Optic, and Denial, all with pretty solid starts coming in from yesterday. Really, the leaderboard tomorrow is what's going to be interesting with more games being played, more teams playing, more results on the board, etc.
I think you really take a look at the leaderboard once we're like, well, this one's going to be 22 games. I think you probably start looking around like 8-9 games total.
See,
for these teams.
That's the interesting thing, because everyone's so used to seeing, 44 games, and it's like, well, a month and a half into it, it's like, it doesn't even matter where we are, there's still enough time.
Yeah.
This season is so different than the past, where, like 9 games in, if you've struggled in your first 9 games...
I mean, a team like TK always gets off to slow starts in the Pro League, starts to roar back toward the end. They can't make that happen. And then also, we just saw a little bit of Rostermania. If teams start out slow, and I don't think they're going to have that much time to really turn things around, when do you start making changes, or when do you start thinking about making changes?
Is it kind of too late, I guess?
No.
In a way, you don't think it is?
Yeah.
When are the rosters logged? Do you know that?
No.
Okay. It's good to know. Good to know. Anyway, let's take a look at the schedule for tonight. One last time, in case you're just tuning in. 6 p.m. Eastern, Optic Nation play TK. 7 p.m. Eastern, Epsilon.NA will go up against Team Elevate. At 8 p.m., Denial eSports go toe-to-toe with Rise Nation. At 9 p.m., Isolation go up against Optic Gaming. All of these games will be streamed and casted by myself and Matt live right here on MLG.tv/ESR. For now, quick commercial breakdown. We'll be back in a couple of minutes' time, kicking off day number 2 of the Pro League.